Hello, race fans, and welcome to the Apex This iRacing League. This is round 4 here at Imola, and well, we're going to have another exciting round for you tonight, folks. I think things are going to be pretty interesting tonight because we've got the this is week 13 with the rebuild. iRacing does a new upgrades to the software every few weeks, and on week 13, that's when they do the upgrades, and they got new tire models coming out, and I think that's been a little bit of a handful in some cars, and things could get a little interesting here, and we're going to see how the guys deal with it tonight, and so they're wrapping up qualifying here. Looks like about 3 minutes to go. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings here. After 3 rounds so far, we have got the GTE cars here, and looking at them here, that's let me pull up my screen here. We got Corey Mitchell leading them. Actually, he's in the tie with Jeff Corolla there, leading the GTE class, with Bjorn Benches in third, Edu Vila fourth, Douglas Doucette in fifth, and followed by the rest of the field in the GTE class. And so these guys are Corey Mitchell and Jeff Corolla. It'll be interesting to see how much battling they do tonight. Moving over to the GT3 class, we have Jaron Haslam has a bit of a lead over John Miller, followed by Jordan Fisher and company. And Jaron Haslam, he's been pretty strong in the series, and so we'll look to see how things play out for him tonight as he tries to maintain his lead in the GT3 class. Oops. Hopefully there wasn't a little hiccup there. We accidentally closed our browser window there by mistake, and you might have noticed an interruption. I'm not sure what you saw on your end there, but hopefully everything is still running here. And let's go ahead and get to our main screen here. And looks like we're pretty much done with qualifying. We're going to bring up the starting lineup here in a little bit. The drivers are getting ready to take the field here. And the rest of the field is coming off the track now. Now the session is coming to an end here. Looks like this should be rolling over to the race session here momentarily. Still got a couple of cars still out on track. They're probably finishing up their qualifying laps here. I mean, that was Corey Mitchell there on track. Trying to finish up some hot laps here. Let's see if we can catch up with him here. Looks like he may be off the track. Well, somebody's still rolling there. Who is that? It's Kent Kruger. He's still on track. There we go. I think time finally ran out. They were probably trying to get one more lap in here. And so now they're going to take the field here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and look at our starting lineup here. We have Caleb John Lavender starting on the pole tonight. Followed by David Duino. Corey Mitchell is third. Jeff Carolla fourth. Bjorn Bench is fifth. Tommy Regan sixth. Eric Elkins seventh. Brian Miles eighth. Douglas Doucette is ninth, and Daryl Karp rounds out your top 10 there, starting 11th. Well, we got a little problem here. You know, we got a little something cutting off our. We've been having some. We've upgraded some hardware here, and we've been messing with the resolutions here, and I apologize for that. Looks like we've got something. I didn't realize that was cutting off at the bottom there. We're not showing the 11th place. That's Dustin Burkhalter there. And also in 12th is Sean Stevens. And then 13th, Joseph Mayer. 14th, Darian Roy. 15th, Daryl Washington. 16th, Jaron Haslam. 17th, Stacy Dunnigan. 18th, Johnson, I guess I don't know if Jordan Johnson. Okay, I guess he typed his name there. 19th, Shane Hunter. 20th, Lincoln Russell. 21st, Adam Baltudis. 22nd, Troy Banks. 23rd is Andrew, can't see it there, but his 23rd is Andrew Rasmussen. And also, and 24th is Kent Kruger. Let's go to the next page, see if we pick them up. 25th, John Stapp. Chris James, 26th. 27th, Ismael Sierra. And rounding out the field is Michael Bond in 28th position. And the cars are getting ready to roll off here. Imola, this is a very, very demanding track. As you can see, looking at the track map there, track map, there's a few little chicanes there, and you know, hairpin here and there, and it's a real busy track, and you really got to have your car handling well to be successful here. And you know, we've seen a lot of folks having a few offs, you know, in practice, and green flag is in there, and we're racing at Imola. Lavender taking them down to turn one. Very tight field. Look at Jeff Carolla. I mean, he is right there too. My apologies. That's Delino. David Duino in a close second place there to Lavender. Car stringing out rather well here. Everybody got through those first turns really well. Like, according to this, we got a report Michael Bond went off the track. Oh, we got a report that Stacy Dunnigan crashed. Let's take a look at that real quick. See what we see here from the, that's the GTE class. The GT3s start up front and the GTEs are behind them. We're going to see what happened here at the start for Stacy Dunnigan. They're rolling down for the start. That must have been very, very quick. We'll see what happens when they take the green here. Dunnigan in that number 1 car there. And here they go. Dunnigan's down there. Looked like he was trying to come over. He made him got over to the right side there. Something must have happened going into turn 1 here. Let's see. Well, it said a report that he had crashed. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. If maybe that was from practice. Oh, there we go. Wasn't really a crash, but just kind of got in the back of someone. I believe that was Jaron Haslam. Yeah, he got Haslam turned around there just a little bit. It looks like everybody's running now. Haslam, he's 3rd in class. Saw somebody else there go off just a little bit just now. I think that was Joseph Mayer there that went off track. Let's check back up at the front of the field here. Lavender continues to lead. Now both him and Duino there look like they are starting to pull away from the rest of the pack here just a little bit. They've definitely separated themselves from the rest of the field. Duino working hard on that 999 car. So far, Lavender's doing a pretty good job of keeping him back there. He's got a fairly decent separation from him. Not much, like maybe a couple of 2.5 seconds there, but it's enough. I'm sorry, but it's about just over half a second. That's Mitchell, that's in 3rd, about 2.5 seconds back. Let's go back to Mitchell. Is he having any battles? Yeah, he's got Jeff Carollo right behind him. So we've got a fairly decent battle between 1st and 2nd and 3rd and 4th here. And these 4 cars really have, they have really pulled away from the rest of the field in a big way. Things are pretty jammed up back there. Let's go back to 5th place Daryl Karp. There's the rest of the field. And boy, that's a long train right there, folks. That's a lot of cars coming through there. That constitutes almost the rest of the pack. And you have about maybe 5 or 6 more cars behind them. A little battling going on behind Karp there. With Erica Elkins, he's under heavy pressure from Bjorn Benches. Bench is looking for a way around. Not exactly a ton of places that you can make a pass here. You really have to time your passes very well. Now that was just like that. And that's how you do. Oh, and there goes Benches. He managed to keep it off the wall, and he managed to get back on the track. He lost quite a few positions there, but he's still rolling. So that's good. But now he's definitely got the rest of the field to catch up to, you know. Not too far behind. That moved him down to 8th position. He only lost actually 3 positions there since the start of the race. So overall, not too bad. Running in 8th position. And actually, he's running 8th in his class, but he's running 10th overall at the moment. Let's just move a little further back here. There's Jaron Haslam. I believe he is your points leader in his division, followed by Ismael Sierra. Further on back in the field, we have Adam Baltutis. He's running second in class. I'm sorry, he's running. Yep, he's running second in his class and 13th overall. He's followed by Chris James. Chris James, and he's followed by Troy Banks, I believe. Yeah, there's Troy. Oh, got somebody in the wall there. I mean, off to the side. Looks like that was Daryl Karp there. Let's see. Yeah, Daryl Karp spun there a little bit, trying to get that Doritos machine back on the track. I do believe they have damage turned off in this series, so even if they hit the wall, they can, you know, everybody's car is going to stay in pristine condition here and manage to continue on. I guarantee you, they have their hands full just, you know, battling with each other. If you had to come in and pit, you can forget trying to catch up anywhere. And in my experience, not too many leagues run with damage turned off, so that's something to be enjoyed here in this league. I'm sure the guys really appreciate that. They definitely keeps your spirits up, even if you do have an off, and you can you know, put it in the wall, turn back around, and just keep on going. And there's Darian Roy. Roy currently running 7th in class, 19th overall. And Tommy Regan, now Tommy Regan, he's got a battle going on there. I believe that's Ismael Sierra right behind him. Yeah, there you go. Tommy Regan just managed to get past him. Okay, let's check up the front again, folks. We have a new leader. Uh-oh, somebody just went in. That was John Lavender we just saw real quick. But David Duino, he's now your leader. He did manage to get by Corey Mitchell. And let's see if he can maintain that. Well, let's go live here. There we go. I'm sorry, we were in replay there a little bit. Yeah, now Duino, he's got some lapped cars around him, between him and Jeff Carollo, who's actually moved into 2nd place. Corey Mitchell, he fell to 3rd. That's actually I believe where he started in the race. So he's not sure. If you look on the timing screen there, he's Actually hasn't, according to that, he actually hasn't lost any positions. So he was good to gain a couple, you know, at the beginning there. Now this is a good battle here between Mitchell and Carollo. Oh, wow. Carollo got way up in the air, hitting that rumble strip hard. Did a great job of hanging on to it. Good grief. Carollo wheeling that car around the track and staying ahead of Mitchell so far. As always in this series, they have a 40-minute timed event, and we're just a little over 25% of the way done. 12 minutes on the book already. 8 laps completed. Carollo, he's opened up over a 1.5-second gap on Mitchell. He's not quite pulling away. He was at 1.7 there. Now he's down to 1.56, and it's still dropping a little bit. So Mitchell, it kind of looks like Mitchell is starting to reel him in just a little bit. You can see that gap continue to come down ever so slightly. And the pole sitter, there's Caleb John Lavender. And now he's fallen all the way down to 4th place so far. I think that was him we saw go off real quick a little while ago. But he's got a pretty solid 4th position right there. He's got a lap car behind him, so definitely no pressure at all from anyone behind. He can pretty much focus on those top 3. Reno continues to have a nice cushion there, so we're going to go back in the field here a little bit. Let's go down. Let's go down to Eric Elkins here. He's running 5th at the moment, and he's got a pretty decent gap over Douglas Doucette in 6th. The top 6 cars on the field are all in the same class. Oh no, there's Elkins. Too much power coming out of the turn there. Put it in the wall. Shouldn't have any damage, and he's able to keep it rolling. They had quite a bit of gap from the rest of the field, so he didn't lose too many positions. Everybody's spaced out rather well, so everybody can really focus on running their lines. And now Elkins, he needs to trying to get himself calmed down a little bit and get back in a rhythm there, because so much of racing is a rhythm. You have to get it established, and you have an off like that just kind of throw off your momentum, and you have to work to get it back a little bit. And the pace he had been setting, I'm sure he'll be getting along here pretty good. And behind him, here we go, Chris James having a good battle here with Jordan Johnson. Now this is a battle here. This is their 8th and 9th overall. Now I may have something. We only have 2 classes in this series, the GTE and the GT3, and yet we do have 7 cars, 7 different makes of car available for this race tonight. But for some reason, on my timing and scoring, it's showing them as actually a 3rd different class, and I actually can't see exactly what class it is at the moment. But whatever class it is, these guys are battling for a 1st and 2nd in it. Man, that's a really tight battle now. Elkins got a lot of company. Elkins, James, and Johnson. Elkins had that spin just a little earlier, and James is all over him. And he's battling for his life here, and now he's caught Elkins, and he needs to get around him in a hurry. Because if not, Johnson's going to get him. But neither one of them have a whole lot of room anywhere because of Elkins right. Oh no! And here comes Chris James in for his pit stop. I do believe they have a mandatory pit stop. See, they have a 19 incident limit. They actually do, if this is correct, they do have damage on. But they are restricted to with fuel and on a pit stop, so it may be a required pit stop there. That seems a little lengthy. He might have some work going on with his car because he's been there in the pits now a bit. Man, he's losing an eternity. There he is, finally getting going now. He was up there battling, at the front of his class, but now he's fallen all the way to 9th so far. But then, of course, so many other folks are going to be pitting here soon. Let's jump back up to your leaders here. David Duino. Now he's pulled out. Now he's got Troy Banks behind him, but Banks is not even on the lead lap, and he's over 3 seconds behind the leader. And there's Troy Banks. I just mentioned he's like a lap behind. Bjorn benches behind him. His benches. Now, right now, that's weird. It's showing both of them in 8th position. In fact, there's 2 or 3 cars here that are showing in 8th. They may be in separate classes here. Let's go a little further back in the field. There's Lincoln Russell. He's currently 4th in his class. Just coming out of the pits to complete his pit stop. Russell's running 20th overall, 4th in class, the GT3 class. And he pretty much hasn't lost any, though. He hasn't lost any position. You can see there he hasn't gained or had lost any. So he's pretty much holding position there, doing good. Who is that behind him? That looks like that's John Stapp behind him. And that is a battle for position, both overall and in class. Stapp's a little over a second, though, behind now. Stapp working hard to catch that 28 car. And we're just past the halfway mark now. Now we're at 22 minutes out of a 40-minute event. It looks like somebody was off there in front of them. Oh, Stapp must have saw that. I don't know. He got on the binders a little too hard, and around he went. Didn't get stuck in the sand. That's good. I was about to say, anybody that were watching at this point could dive into the pits, but Stapp's he's staying out this time. So far, I don't see anybody else in the pits at the moment. Let's look a little further back in the field. There's Chris James. He's 10th in the class, 24th overall. And it looks like we do have a couple of retirements here. I saw him pop on the screen there very quickly, but it's not showing who it is now. We're going to pop up the front here, see what's going on. Dave Duino continues to lead. However, Caleb John Lavender he still has a lap car in between them, but he has made his way back up to second position after that spin. Very tricky section there. Pushing that car right to the very limit. You really have to keep these things wound up and on the limit to get the absolute maximum performance out of them, and also keep pace with your competitors. Absolutely no let up whatsoever. These guys, they don't get much time to take a breath at all around this course. And he does have some lap cars in front of him. He has Bjorn Benches. Excuse me. Let's see who's in front of him. There's Caleb. No, that's Benches right there. Yeah, and he's getting ready to pass. Who is that? It's Kent Kruger. But see, they're both not on the same lap as the leaders. But Lavender has to deal with the two of them before he can even get close to Duino. Oh, and speaking of which, here comes John Lavender into the pits. Baltutis is in front of him there. Duino has stayed out a little longer, have a few more cars there going into the pits. So now it's just a matter, Duino's going to have to continue to crank out some fast laps and This, who knows? This may now that Lavender has stopped for tire change and possibly fuel. Uh, Dorino's going to have to do a really quick lap this particular time. The same way Lavender is going to have to really crank out a really fast one to try to catch him. Maybe try an undercut. And for anyone who may not be familiar with the term, undercut, you instead of waiting to pit right when the guy you're chasing pits, if you pit early and try to crank out a fast lap after you pit, then basically you can pass him when he does pit. Uh, while he's in pit. Uh-oh, who is that? Somebody in the backfield. Was that I believe that was, who was that? Somebody just went off. Let's look at our report here. I think that was Burkhalter. Whoa! Oh wow! Somebody, and also John Stapp, I believe. Yeah, that was John Stapp, who had already gone off track. Yeah, some of these guys are starting to have some little problems here. I don't know if what their tire wear is like. The tires may be going away on them. I don't know. I believe there's a new tire model out for some of the cars now. Now that was somebody else we just saw. I think that was Troy Banks. And there's Banks coming back on the track. Banks into the pits. Well, he's got Rasmussen right behind him. Banks currently running 8th in class, 20th overall. Right behind him there is Andrew Rasmussen. Running 4th in class, 22nd overall. Let's hop back up to your leaders here, see what's going on here. Dorino, he still has some cars between him and second place. Right now it's Corey Mitchell who's in second place. Lavender, he's already stopped. He's running in 4th. And here's Dorino. Now this will be interesting to see. Let's see where Lavender is. Lavender's still coming around the track. Dorino's in the pits. Looks like, I think Dorino's he's already stopped. He's getting his tires, and here comes Lavender. Getting ready. Oh, almost went off. Now somebody just passed somebody who just went off the track. I think that was Ismael Sierra. Now they're getting ready to come around the front, but Dorino, now he's coming there. Dorino's already out of the pits and gone. So he was able to get in and out. And Lavender has moved back into P2, but David Dorino was able to get in and out and maintain that first position. Now 10 minutes remaining in the race. 18 laps completed. At this point now, as far as overall position, we only have 4 cars on the lead lap. Everybody else showing, they're gaining positions within their class, respective classes, but so far the top 4 have pretty much lapped the field. You can see right there, Dorino, surrounded by a couple of lapped cars. Dorino doing a good job to keep that car on track. See what kind of lap times he's doing. His last was a 157. He might have, you know, so many times you run up on lap traffic, and of course you're not going to get a clean lap in, so that'll really throw off your numbers. His best was a 141, 187. He's got a bit of clean track here now. I don't. We'll see if he can improve that. He just came in for those fresh tires. We'll ride with him this lap and see what happens when he hits the start-finish line again. He is catching Hunter up pretty quick there, though. That could be a problem, as far as him in maintaining his lap times there. I believe that's a 9:27 of Shane Hunter. Here's that tricky little chicane right here. Gotta get this right. Now Hunter may not hold him up. He may time it just right where he's getting there and might even get a little bit of a toe off of him. This might be compromising the lap though, because he's really caught up to Hunter really good now. He's probably just gonna go on past. Can't really do any drafting that close at the rate he was closing. Let's see what he has at the line here. And that was, that was over a second off the pace there, 142.411. Quite a bit of clean track in front of him now. I think Tommy Regan would be the next car. There he is up there in the distance. Let's look at John Lavender. He's lapping in the 141s nicely. He's got a lapped car in front of him. And that is, let's see who that is. That is Russell. Jordan Russell. I'm sorry, Lincoln Russell. This too may compromise his lap time here. If he wants to catch Dorino, oh, looks like maybe Russell let him by very quickly there. For a minute I thought he spun off, but yeah, he timed that pretty good. Hitting those curbs, getting a little airborne. Let's see if he's able to stay in the 141s there after dealing with Russell. One more turn here, and then they'll be heading down towards the start-finish. And his next lap will be, yeah, so he did fall off a bit too, 142.9, just about a 143 second lap actually. He's got all these lap cars between him and Dorino. It's going to be pretty hard to catch him. There's somebody there in the track, in the dirt there we just saw. It was Joseph Mayer. He's up and running again. Let's see where Corey Mitchell is. See, the top, it's funny because the top three all have lapped cars between each other. And so they can't really get at each other that well, because any fast lap that they have, they'll probably end up catching somebody, and it'll compromise that lap just a little bit, effectively keeping all three of them from getting that close to each other. But you know, that's just how it is in racing sometimes, especially when you have multiple classes, and you know, have cars that are definitely going to be slower than yours, and it's just something that you have to deal with. But now we're only showing the three cars on the lead lap. Duino, Lavender, and Mitchell running 1, 2, 3, both in class and overall. Less than 4 minutes to go in this event now. 36 in the book, 22 laps. Here's Bjorn Benches. He's having a good race. He's fourth in class, fourth overall. That's a good run from Bjorn there. He's gained a position since the start of the race. Under no pressure whatsoever from Doucette. Almost four. Now he is over 4 seconds behind Benches. Now there's Kruger. He's going to let Benches by because he's a lap behind. That's Kent Kruger there. Let's check back with John Lavender here. Still has and he has a ways to even catch Hunter there, Shane Hunter. And David Duino, he's quite a ways down the road. In fact, he's getting ready to go through the hairpin up there at the track map. If you look at the very top of the track, there's your leader going through there right now. And if you look, see the little green dot with the white dot with the green circle around it, that's Caleb Lavender. And he's just going through the hairpin there, and that's how far back he is from the leader. And what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 cars between him and the leader. So yeah, and we're like 1 minute to go in this event. So very little that Lavender could do. David Duino would have to go off the track for him to grab the victory at this point. It's never over till it's over, but you know, the way Duino has been running, it'd be hard to say, yeah, I think he's gonna mess up and stuff. And no, that's not an announcer's curse either. I mean, he's been pretty rock solid here. David Duino making his way around. This should be the final lap of the race. Caleb John Lavender continues to run second. Has both Carollo and Kruger lapped cars on either side of him, front or behind. So no danger of, right now, no danger of losing second place. And a little bit further back is Corey Mitchell. Same deal. He's actually, he might pass Russell. He might pass Lincoln Russell there before he hits the finish line. Duino's coming around now. The last couple of double left-handers, somebody in the grass there. I think that was Stapp maybe. And picking up the win will be David Duino. Congratulations to David. Started second overall and managed to get past Lavender and hold on, and had good pit strategy and good pit pit performance. Pit stops, performed a good pit stop. And as tradition with the group, everyone pulls up for the class photo, so to speak, at the end of the race. And we have to wait till pretty much everyone finishes before we can show you the finishing order. Everyone has to cross the finish line. Now time for a little burnout. Whoa, somebody came flying through there. Okay. Guys are just having fun, man, I tell you. And let's take a look at your overall results here. And let's see. Let's see if we can bring those up. That's one little glitch that we're having, bringing these final results up. So we'll just bring up the race order again here. Finishing order: David Duino, Caleb John Lavender second, Corey Mitchell your podium, followed by Bjorn Benches fourth, Douglas Doucette fifth, Jared Haslam in sixth, seventh place Tommy Regan, Jeff Corolla 8th, in 9th place Shane Hunter. Rounding out the top 10 is Brian Miles. 11th place Jordan Johnson. 12th place Lincoln Russell. 13th Darian Roy. Ismail Sierra in 14th. Chris James 15th. Dustin Burkhalter 16th. The 17th is Kent Kruger. I know you're not seeing these on your screen, but I'm just telling them for your benefit. 18th Joseph Mayer, 19th Andrew Rasmussen, 20th Daryl Karp, 21st Eric Elkins, 22nd John Stapp, and 23rd is Troy Banks. Adam Baltudis is 24th, and 25th position is Michael Bond. Stacy Dunnigan is 26th, Daryl Washington 27th, and rounding out the field is Sean Stevens in 28th position. And that will do it for tonight. And thank you for joining us tonight here at the Apex This iRacing League. If you enjoyed the race, hit that like and share button there. And we'll look to see you at round 5. Everyone have a great evening.